Hello again from my front porch. There's a lot of discussion lately about movies that have not performed to the level that people felt they should have. Of most recently is one that I personally think is an excellent movie, and that's the latest Indiana Jones film, The Dial of Destiny. Now, part of what has hurt that Indiana Jones film, the newest one, is, in my opinion, a serious case of ageism. There are a whole lot of people who just dismissed it outright because, oh, he's just so old. How can he be Indiana Jones? He's so old. Because there's this narrow-minded ignorance that says, well, the star of an Indiana Jones movie has to be in his 30s, and he has to be jumping around all over the place, and he has to be doing that's just dumb, in my opinion. It's the character of Indiana Jones is what we want to watch. It's not the activities that he's doing. And trust me, I've seen this new Indiana Jones movie. He does plenty of the traditional Indiana Jones activities as it is, but it's the film I really found to be really engaging because it's about him. It's about Indiana Jones himself. The adventure that he goes on and all the stuff that goes on around that is actually secondary. The main focus of this movie is Indiana Jones himself, which has not really been the case before, and I found that to be really interesting. And in my opinion, the character is the most real he has been ever in any of the previous four movies. This fifth movie, this Indiana Jones is a real person compared to the previous outings. But that's just my opinion, and we'll probably do an actual review, full dig into about the movie after it's been out for a little. It's only been out for a couple of weeks now, so a little premature for me to launch into that. But there are people talking about how it's not done as well at the box office as they had hoped. It cost about $300 million to make, and last I looked, it was just closing in on making that much in the global box office. It was like at 250 million or something end of last week or something. So, and then now there's other movies that are supposed to be coming out that are expected to, quote, bury it at the box office. But here's the interesting thing, that even when it was being dismissed for having not made a lot at the box office, it was actually still number one at the box office. Other films that were also out were way down the list. This film was number one of a fairly soft box office. And of course, before that, there was the recent The Flash movie, which did not perform well either, despite the fact that it has the return of Michael Keaton as Batman and a bunch of other notable additions into that. But now that's a little different. That movie has the big shadow hanging over it of its star having really gone off the rails and done some pretty bad criminal activity. Now, supposedly he went to treatment and he's better now, or I'm sorry, because the star of The Flash chooses to not be male or female. So I should be respectful and call them they, which is apparently what they prefer. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be snide about it. When it gets to that, when someone chooses to be called male or female, him or her, okay, that I can wrap my head around that. When someone chooses to be called a they, that I would avoid it. And the way my brain's wired, that's an insult to dehumanize somebody. But that's me, and I can't interpret other people based on me. But I digress. So back to the point at hand for this episode. There have been multiple times in the history of entertainment that the delivery media used has changed. There was a time where the primary way that media was presented, that entertainment was presented, was through live stage productions, plays, and music was presented through live performance. And you would have these performers and these traveling shows that would literally travel all over the country. My dad and I were just talking yesterday about how in my hometown of Carroll, Iowa, that there's a place, a bowling alley out at the east end of town now, that at one time was a dance hall. It was a place where there was a big dance floor and a stage area, and they had all kinds of big names, Lawrence Welk and Benny Goodman and these kind of big name performers that of the era that came through and performed in Carroll, Iowa, because that's how it was done. Now that's a little more recent time, but you go all the way back to before there was any broadcast mediums at all. The way stuff was presented was in print and in person, through live oratory, through live performance, drama, music, whatever. That's how it was done. There was no way of capturing any of that. Well then, and I'm not going to go through every stage of this, but then we get to a point where now some stuff gets recorded onto whether it's the cylinders that Edison came up with or the actual record, and so now it was possible for somebody to actually hear someone speak or perform without actually watching them, without being there in person. This begins the evolution of things. But radio comes out, and radio makes it possible for a large audience across the entire country, certainly in a region, but eventually across the entire country, to be able to listen to one program, one performance, without all having to be there in the room. And this is groundbreaking. This changes things, so that where you had the traveling show performers, now that begins to slide, because why do they need to travel all over the place for an audience when they can just be in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles? They can go into a studio, they can produce their show and never have to leave there. Everybody can hear them as it is. And so there's that. Well, then movies are out, but they're silent originally, and so that also hurts the live plays somewhat. But still, there's a difference there. But eventually they become the talkies, and they become color too. But the movies begin to kill what's going with the theater, and those two begin to try to carve out separate niches. And then along comes television, and television just screws it up for everybody, because now you don't even have to go to a theater to watch it. You can watch it right here in your living room. You can have the celebrities and the stars come to you in your home, and you watch them on this little black and white box. and people love this. This is all about this. But radio is hurt by that. Live performance is hurt by that. And now it becomes something where instead of you just going to the live performance to get the basics, now that becomes more of a luxury thing. It becomes a special thing that you go because you like this performer, so you're going to go and watch them in person, rather than the way it used to be, where it was just, well, this is how you get entertained, period. Doesn't matter. So we have all that evolution. Well, then, of course, with the onslaught of TV journalism, and then the internet gets launched, and we have all these media outlets available in there, then we begin to see print media, newspapers, magazines. We see them now struggling to survive because everybody gets their stuff online through the news medias. We see local news stations struggling as the national news media takes precedence over them. And we see the national news media folks slugging it out, trying to figure out how do you take a 24-hour time frame and fill it with news when you've got all these different competitors trying to cover the same stuff. And what we find is, we may over-enhance the news in some cases because we have to fabricate things. The scene from Anchorman 2 to me is very poignant, where he's covering the car chase. It's just filming and he's just making up stuff for like several hours as he's just fabricating the narrative of what's going on with the cops chasing this vehicle, and the viewership skyrockets because people just buy into that. Well, I don't know that that's changed a whole lot. I think that's pretty accurate in reality. But anyway, I say all of this to say now we are at again one of those points where we are seeing the evolution of media, for better or for worse, it is happening. And that is, the internet has not just giving us information that we can click on and read and look at pictures and research. Now it is being used increasingly for viewing of video. And the launch of the streaming service is what is now fundamentally shaking things to their core. I talked about in the last episode about how one of the things that the Screen Actors Guild and the writers are in Hollywood are all striking about. It has to do with being fairly compensated for things that are streamed as opposed to broadcast or put out through theatrical runs. And it's important that they have that covered and they get that worked out. But this has more of an impact than just who's getting paid for things. You see, going back to what I was talking about with the movie things, it's expensive to go to a movie these days. I don't want to turn this into a political conversation, but we have a current administration that wants us to believe that everything is hunky-dory financially in our nation, and it is not. And the problem is that we still have an economy in which the average person sees their disposable income really tightened, really shrunk down. And when they don't have a lot of disposable income, they have to pick and choose where they will make use of that disposable income. If I have a family and going to the movie theater is an experience is going to be, $100 at least by the time I buy the tickets and then I buy the refreshments and whatever, it can easily add up to be in that ballpark very quickly these days. So I'm sitting back, I'm thinking I don't have a lot of disposable income, but my family wants to see this new movie, the Indiana Jones movie, the Flash movie, the whatever, but they want to go see this movie. But and the Indiana Jones is the one I'm gonna pick on because Disney Plus has done a fantastic job of marketing itself as a place where you can watch all the Disney catalog of stuff. You can watch all the Lucasfilm, the Star Wars catalog of stuff. You can watch all the Marvel stuff, which is, obviously, then Indiana Jones falls in that category because it's a Lucasfilm production. But so here's all of these things that you can now watch through Disney Plus. You just buy the one subscription to Disney Plus, and you have access to the wealth of all of these libraries of different things. So here I am with a family, excuse me. Here I am with a family, and I want to they all want to see the new Indiana Jones movie. Okay, do I have the $100 or more to take everybody to the theater to watch it there, or because I have my Disney Plus streaming subscription, do I want to just wait a couple of months and wait for it to come out on Disney Plus streaming? I mean, most people now, I shouldn't say most, that's probably an exaggeration, but a lot of people now have fairly large TVs in their house. The flat screen TV, the larger ones they're becoming really inexpensive. I see them at Walmart every now and again where you can get really, I don't know dimensions, but really bigger than anything I've got. Actually, you can get them for like $500-600. That's maybe a family's Christmas present to themselves or something. I don't know. But the point is, it's within reach of that money. It's an investment. But once you've invested in that big TV in your home, why not make use of it? You've got the big TV. You're paying for the Disney Plus streaming service. Why would I spend the money to take my family to a theater experience when I can run to Walmart and for just a few dollars I can buy the same theater candy? I can get a bunch of microwave popcorn and we can just sit at home with the family, pop up the popcorn, break open the candy, and we sit back and turn on Disney Plus and ta-da, Indiana Jones 5 is on the big screen in front of us. Financially, it makes total sense to the consumer. However, we still operate on this model where we evaluate whether something is a blockbuster based on how well it does at the box office. But we have now forever altered people's habits at going to the box office. The economic factors, the realities of our current world dictate the money people have available, and Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, the BBC has their BritBox. You got all these different major services. Then you just got the Netflix and you got the Amazon Primes. You got all of these services are there. You don't even have to wait. It used to be that people wanted to go see it in the theater because, well, it's going to be 6 months before it shows up on TV or before it shows up on cable. Might be 4 months or something. Well, now we don't have to wait that long. Now it's likely within a couple of months, unless something is just blasting through the theater and the studios go, ooh, this is big money. Yeah. Let's keep it there out there. We're gonna rake it in. We're gonna rake it in. Unless there is that kind of drive, like the Top Gun Maverick movie. That just kind of blew out the walls with the nostalgia factor of going after that, and the studios are gambling and hoping that Tom Cruise has another one coming out now, another Mission Impossible. That is going to be coming out here soon, and they're hoping that that's going to be another one of those barn burners that's going to bury everything else at the box office. It's just going to be awesome, and maybe it will. I don't know. But if people knew that Mission Impossible was going to be showing up on this streaming service that so many people have in a short period of time, how would that impact attendance at the theater? Now, see, I don't even know what streaming service Mission Impossible will show up on. I don't even know if that's Paramount or what distributor that is. But that's why Disney Plus, being such a fantastic package where you have the one thing and it's got these major libraries underneath it, is incredible for the customer. It's very easy access, very approachable. You pay the one fee, you get all of this top-notch entertainment stuff, and inadvertently Disney shoots himself in the foot at the box office. See, there still needs to be something that Disney would say, when a movie is released in the theater, they still need to put a moratorium or something. It says, but it's not even going to show up on Disney Plus for 4 months or 5, whatever. Let the viewing audience know that if you want to see it and you don't want to wait half a year to see it, like we used to wait just for it to be on network television, sometimes a year before it be on network television, depending on the movie. If you don't want to wait for that, then you need to go see it in the theater. See that sense of urgency, that sense of you got to go see it at the theater. That's getting lost. That's getting buried because we're creating our own home theater systems with the big screen TVs and the easy access to the snacks and the surround sound systems. They're also cheap and you can hook those up easy. And I'm surrounded, so you really can get the theater experience at home to a very large extent. And once you've invested in all of that stuff, well, now it's there for everything you want to watch, not just spending that, again, if it costs you $100 to take your family to go see a movie, well, then, and a big screen TV is going to cost you $500. Well, after watching 5 movies on your big screen TV with the family, you've paid for the whole thing. So why not invest it that way? A lot of people are thinking that. And so we're seeing this shift, and I think we're going to continue to see this shift. I think that we are going to now start seeing also that studios are going to start evaluating. They're going to be measuring the success of movies not just by box office proceeds. We're going to start to see that become a thing of the past. And instead, we're going to start seeing a reporting of the numbers for streaming. And I will even go farther to say that there may be a point where even if you're paying for a streaming service like Disney Plus, there might still be a premium price that you pay to watch something right away. So like, again, if I use the Indiana Jones 5 movie as my example, the Dial of Destiny, let's say it's in the theater for a couple of months, and then Disney says, now we're going to start running it on Disney Plus. Okay, well, I don't think it's going to happen now, but I can see down the road that the studios might say, well, so what we're doing is 2 months in the theater, and then it's going to be released to you here out in the on the service, but it's going to cost you $5. It's going to cost you, a little bit of money to watch it for the first month that it's on the streaming service. So if you want to watch it right away on the streaming service, there's an additional fee. I don't know. They might do that. I don't know. But if they don't, then they're still gonna the premium the streaming services, the price tag of those may go up. Who knows? But the model is going to change. It is already starting to change. It's already shaking a bit that it's going to need to change. And the strike that the actors and writers are on, where they're pushing for more compensation from streaming options, is also going to factor into this. That they're going to have to really revisit that streaming model and how that's going to map out. And I think that when the dust settles, it's going to just further take away from the theater experience, or it's going to cause those like Disney and Paramount to have streaming services. It's going to cause them to figure out a way to restrict what is available right away on the streaming service to force people to go more to the theater again, so that model of funding can stay intact. I don't know. We'll see. Tune back in a year. Let's revisit these comments and see how far off base I was. All right. Well, that's it. I'm going to let you go, and I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.